Hare Krishna. Welcome to all of you, those who have come. Reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is. Today we'll be reading verse 13 from chapter 9. The chapter is titled The Most Confidential Knowledge. Mahatmanastu mam partha Daivim prakritim ashritaha Bhajanti ananya manaso Gyatva bhutadim avyayam. Mahatmana, the great souls. Tu, but. Mam, unto me. Partha, O son of Pritha. Daivim, divine. Prakritim, nature. Ashritaha, having taken shelter of. Bhajanti, render service. Ananya manasaha, without deviation of mind. Gyatva, knowing. Bhuta, of creation. Adim, origin. Avyayam, inexhaustible. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In this verse, the description of Mahatma is clearly given. The first sign of Mahatma is that he is already situated in the divine nature. He is not under the control of material nature. And how is this effected? This is explained in the 7th chapter. One who surrenders unto Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, at once becomes freed from control of material nature. That is the qualification. One can become free from the control of material nature as soon as he surrenders his soul to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the preliminary formula. Being marginal potency, as soon as living entity is freed from the control of material nature, he is put under the guidance of spiritual nature. The guidance of spiritual nature is called Daivi Prakriti, divine nature. So when one is promoted in that way, by surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one attains to the stage of great soul, Mahatma. The Mahatma does not divert his attention to anything outside Krishna because he knows perfectly well that Krishna is original Supreme Person, the cause of all causes. There is no doubt about it. Such a Mahatma or great soul develops through association with other Mahatmas, pure devotees. Pure devotees are not even attracted by Krishna's other features such as four-armed Mahavishnu. They are simply attracted by two-armed form of Krishna. They are not attracted to other features of Krishna, nor are they concerned with any form of a demigod or of a human being. They meditate only upon Krishna in Krishna consciousness. They are always engaged in unswerving service of the Lord in Krishna consciousness. That's the end of the purport. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Mano Abhishtham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamsha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute. तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनेति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। Sorry. So this verse has tu means but in the beginning, Mahatmanastu Mam Partha. So why this but comes? Because in the previous verses Krishna was speaking about those who have not taken shelter of this divine nature. Avjananti Mamura Tanumashritam, that was about the fools, and then Mogasha Mokarmano, what you discussed yesterday also. They have taken off the verse which was discussed yesterday was discussing the fate of those who have taken shelter of bewildering material nature. So this verse is discussing about those who have taken shelter of divine nature. And what does taking shelter means? Would anyone like to try what does taking shelter means? What is your understanding of shelter?
Depending upon Krishna.
Pardon?
Depending upon Krishna.
Depending upon Krishna. Okay, I mean it's not synonymous right now because we are in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise we depend so much on family members, and actually it's very much theoretical understanding we have still. We are really not taking shelter of Krishna. We are still depending much on our family members, our jobs, our bank balance. Yes. Yeah, shelter would minimum mean a building or a house with 4 walls where there's some meaning of protection. There is some sense of protection. And so, and in this purport, Prabhupada refers to chapter 7. I think all of you could guess the verse, what he's talking about, Prabhupada. One who surrenders, Daivi Hesha Gunamai Mama Maya Durataya, Mameva Ye Prapadyante Maya Meta. So he says, this material nature of mind, again, is divine and it's very difficult to overcome. But one who surrenders unto me, it becomes very easy. They can easily swim over. So he's referring to that verse. So taking shelter means surrender also. And this verse is giving definition of Mahatma. In the past, in the 7th chapter, another time, Bahunam Janmanamante Gyanvam Mam Prapadyante Vasudevam Sarvamiti Saha Mahatma Sudurlabha. There also Mahatma has been described. After many, many lifetimes, those who surrender unto Krishna, they are Mahatma. And so this verse is describing the characteristic. Of course, tomorrow's verse will describe more specific characteristic. But the primary characteristics are also this they have taken shelter of divine nature. Bhajanti anana manaso. This unswerving, undivided attention with undivided mind. They are, bhajanti means serving. And they know that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead and He is the origin and inexhaustible. Avayam word also comes several times in Bhagavad Gita, and He is original. That also we are singing in Govindam Adi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. There are several verses. We are in the morning prayers, greetings, there are only 2 verses that are being sang, otherwise Brahma Samhita. There are so many verses ending with Govindam Adi Purusham. He is the original. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. There are many ways he is saying that I am the origin. There was a time when this material world did not exist. I mean, these living entities become unmanifest. So it's not this creation. At some point, this cosmic manifestation comes into being. But even before that, Krishna existed. Krishna was there. Krishna is one who has no beginning. So, first prayer of Brahma Samhita is also Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karna. His Parama Krishna, Ishvara Parama Krishna. So, his supreme personality of Godhead. This is what Prabhupada is saying time and again. That Krishna is supreme personality of Godhead, and we believe that because Krishna himself says that Matta Parataram Nanyat Kinchit Asti Dhananjaya, that there is no superior truth beyond me. So, this at least somewhat after we join ISKCON or associate with devotees or have read Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, we have come to at least theoretical understanding of Krishna is original and supreme personality of Godhead, inexhaustible. But we have to see how much we have taken shelter and how much we are doing bhajanti ananya manaso, serving with undivided attention. So there is a definition of surrender, which is also quoted in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. There are also two components. I think maybe all of you are familiar with that verse. Anukulena Sankalpa Pratikulasya Varjanam. But in this also, there are two components which are specifically about taking shelter of Krishna. Rakshesheti iti Vishvasho. We have to keep the faith that Krishna will protect me. And Goptritve Varnam Tatha. That taking shelter of one who is maintaining gopis. And actually, we all have experience that only Krishna can protect us and not our family members or anybody else. We have sometimes experienced, or we can at least understand theoretically, that even though our parents might be loving us too much, very much, but how much they can do for us. At some point they have to leave. They cannot look after our well-being even throughout our lifetime, even this lifetime. So what to talk about life after life? But Krishna is so kind, he doesn't give up our being with us life after life. Even if we are degraded to a worm in the stool, Krishna is still there. So we are hearing so much, but still we have doubts whether Krishna can protect us. Krishna, actually everyone wants to be happy, and that's natural. That's the natural quality of living entity, Anandamaya Bhayasat. But we are taking shelter in wrong place. Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Parityaja. Okay, Arjuna, I gave you so many instructions. You are confused, this, that, and okay, you don't have to do anything, just surrender unto me. And why do we suffer? Because of sins. Our sinful reactions, because of that we suffer. And Krishna says, I'll free you from all sinful reactions, but we are not still able to keep our faith in Krishna. And we are able to keep faith on these material possessions, which Bhagavatam calls fallible soldiers. Our home, family members, relatives, griha, kshetra, land, building, home, all these are fallible soldiers. They cannot ensure our protection. Even being around us, what to speak when they are not always moving around with us or being with us. In childhood, yes, it's possible that, and still it's not possible that mother is with the child all the time. It's not possible. But for Krishna it's possible, and he is only our well-being, well-wisher. But still we are not able to keep that faith. So we have to see how to increase in our faith in Krishna. And another point in this verse is, Prabhupada says, they do not divert their attention even to Mahavishnu. In the Brahma Samhita prayers, Yaseika Nishvasita Kala Jivanti Loma Vilaja. So they are also ending with Sa Vishnu Mahan, Sah Yasya Vishnu Mahan. 1 minute, I have to see. 54. Vishnu Mahasah Sa iha yasya kala vishesho govindam adipurusham tam aham bhajami. The Mahavishnu, into whom all the innumerable universes enter and from whom they come forth again, simply by his breathing process, is a plenary expansion of Krishna. Therefore, I worship Govinda, Krishna, the cause of all causes. Therefore, one should conclusively worship the personal form of Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead who has eternal bliss and knowledge. He is the source of all forms of Vishnu. He is the source of all forms of incarnation. He is the original Supreme Personality as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. So this Mahavishnu is also only a plenary portion of Krishna. We hear in the Rasa dance, after the dance began, Krishna leaves the gopi and after some time he disappears from the dancing arena. And then gopis are searching frantically for Krishna. And at some point they almost reach where Krishna was hiding. And then Krishna assumes the form of four-handed Narayan. And so they catch sight of Narayan and they just pay respect to him and ask him, have you seen Krishna? They are not even concerned with, and they walk off. If he doesn't know Krishna, where is Krishna, they are not even concerned. So that should be our at one pointed attention, that we should deviate our attention to no other forms also, what to speak of demigods. And even when we are coming to Krishna consciousness, in the beginning devotees are trying to preach. We might have read Bhagavad Gita or might not have read, and devotees are trying to preach to us that there is no need of demigod worship. And maybe in our home altars, so many pictures are there, even Lakshmi is there, and then I'm worried, should I remove Lakshmi? Lakshmi is very important, even to ISKCON, you have to give Lakshmi, so it looks like it's most important. How can I do away with Lakshmi? Because that time our faith is not strong, we are a little bit hesitant, but we have to keep faith that if Krishna wants, he can give us Lakshmi, and if Krishna doesn't want, what we are enjoying or what we are suffering in this lifetime is already destined. So there's nothing more, or that's why Bhagavatam says that a man need not, after getting this human form of life, which provides an unique opportunity to go back to Godhead and get free from this repeated cycle of birth and death. If we do not utilize our life for this purpose and waste in other material pursuits, then it is only shrama eva hi kevalam, and it's kind of suicide. Because only human form of life provides us this opportunity, unique opportunity. Other forms of life, we are only burning our karma, but here we have. And in the introduction of Bhagavad Gita, 5 topics of Bhagavad Gita have been discussed. So of the 5 topics, that is Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kal and Karma. 4 are eternal, and only fortunately karma is not eternal. We can change our karma, we have control, but other 4 are eternal. So only this we can change, and in this form of life we have opportunity to read these books, understand them. But even if the book was there, like Krishna spoke this Bhagavad Gita 5,000 years back, and even translations must have been there over the years. But before Prabhupada's translation, how many understood Bhagavad Gita? I mean, even if we talk of theoretical understanding, in India maybe people have Bhagavad Gita at their home, they didn't open, or they did open, they read, but didn't understand much. How does it, how to apply it in our lives? Is it important to me? Okay, it's a religious book, let it remain. It can remain in altar or maybe just at home. But how many do understand? But by Prabhupada's merciful translation, at least we have been able to at least theoretically grasp and accept this. Now we have to really apply the principles to experience it. We have wonderful examples in front of us to follow. And there are devotees who are experiencing the bliss of Krishna consciousness. But if we follow, then we'll get the taste. Otherwise, it will remain on material level. In the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it says that activities performed without transcendental knowledge remain on material plane. So even though maybe from my birth at my home there is Gopal worship, or even Krishna, Narayan, and something is there, I may be worshipping, but if I don't do with that proper understanding, it may still remain material. Of course, it will have some value, some progress we will make. It's in mode of goodness, but it's not transcendental. But when we do it with transcendental knowledge and faith, that I am doing it for pleasure of Krishna. And we should not have any other desire. Anya abhilashita shunyam. We should become free from all other desires. Not just for my personal happiness, even extended happiness of my family members, society, community. These things are they are already destined, whatever has to happen. What I can do in this human form of life is to cultivate this knowledge, what is given in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and other Vaishnava literatures. Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead and inexhaustible. Of course, this inexhaustible point is very nicely explained in the invocation mantra of Ishopanishad. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. So Supreme Personality of Godhead is complete and perfect. And although so many complete units come out from him, which are fully complete, but he remains complete whole. So in this material world, a mother also gives birth to a child, and it may look like that child is also a whole, and the mother remains, but she doesn't die after giving birth to a child. But like if women give birth to many children, then her body is affected. So we can understand it's not the same. But for Krishna, so many complete units come, but he remains complete balance. This is spiritual mathematics. 1 minus 1 is 0. Not 0, sorry, 1 minus 1 is also 1. Krishna remains complete whole, sorry. And bhajanti ananya manaso, we have to see where we are. In the beginning, it can be dedicating few hours, or even if we have started with one round, can we be at least focused during that one round? Or if we have started the practice of chanting 16 rounds, can we be focused at least during those 16 rounds? Whether we are doing 16 rounds at a stretch or divided over several parts of the day because of our job or studies or whatever reasons. Can we at least focus on those time that we spend with Krishna? Okay, in the beginning we don't have faith whether Krishna can protect me and whether I should give up all my materialistic endeavor and just surrender my life to Krishna. But when we are doing that activity, we try, we have to make a start somewhere. So as we try, Krishna will empower us. This is the nature of spiritual energy and divine nature, which is in stark contrast with material energy. The duty of material energy is to check the materialistic endeavor of people. It is sure to bewilder us, baffle our efforts. But in contrast to this, spiritual energy is not limiting, but it is nourishing. When you repose your faith in Krishna or Srimati Radharani, then you will feel protection. And as you surrender more, you will feel more protected. And that will inspire you to surrender more. So you have to make a start somewhere. We can start with our baby steps. Wherever we are, we can try to make further progress. Because we have to come to this state, bhajanti ananya manaso. With undivided attention are we serving. And bhajanti, this unique definition given by Srila Prabhupada, is loving devotional service. It's not just mental activity. Bhajan is not just singing bhajan or having reverence for Krishna or Krishna's other forms, that's not bhajan. If we love someone, then we want to serve them. Like a mother loves a child, father loves a child, and if, of course, if they can afford, maybe there is on her birthday or his birthday, mother is buying a frock, father is also buying a frock for the child, and maybe there are not so many occasions, so many times of the day she will change the dress, but out of love they do it. They don't think it's enough, one we have brought is enough. So similarly for Krishna, we have to think how we can serve more. We have to engage our mind, this faculty, in devising means how to increase our service. From whichever point we are, we can try to make progress. Bhajanti ananya manaso. And also, Krishna is distinguished from all others because we have heard he has 64 qualities. Even Lord Narayan doesn't have 64 qualities. There are 4 qualities which are unique in Krishna. This is mentioned in Nectar of Devotion. There are 4 qualities that are not even manifest in Narayan form of Godhead. They are as follows. Krishna is performer of wonderful varieties of pastimes, especially his childhood pastimes. He is surrounded by devotees endowed with wonderful love of Godhead. He can attract all living entities all over the universe by playing on his flute. He has a wonderful excellence of beauty, which cannot be rivaled anywhere in the creation. So that shows that we have to have develop that faith in Krishna, and not even other forms of Krishna like Narayan, Ramadi Murti Shukala Niyamantishan, there also, or Ete Chakala Amsha Pumshan, Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. So time and again is being repeated that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is the fountainhead of all personalities. Pardon?
Incarnations.
No, not just incarnations. All other expansions also, like Narayan is not really an incarnation, but still, yeah, that shloka comes after mentioning several incarnations. But yeah, he is like also another verse in Brahma Samhita, like we may light from one candle, many candles may be lit, and all will glow equally. But we have to understand that first original candle is Krishna. So we have heard sufficiently. Now it's our turn to surrender and take shelter in Krishna. And even here it is divine nature, meaning Radharani. Radharani is more merciful than Krishna. Of course, Radharani and Krishna in identity, they are one actually. It's said in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 1.5 that in identity they are one, but Krishna becomes 2, expands into pleasure potency. And why does he expand? To have pleasure. So that's natural. He wants to have pleasure, so he expands into Srimati Radharani. So Srimati Radharani knows best what will please Krishna. Devotees may know somewhat, but Radharani knows perfectly well to the degree of 0.00001 perfection. Minutest perfection, she knows what will please Krishna. So if we want to please Krishna also, we have to take shelter of Srimati Radharani. And Radharani is more merciful. We can see if we are praying to Krishna, that's good. But if we are praying to Radharani, things will become more easy. Even if we want to please Krishna, we have to pray to Radharani that make me a good servant of Lord Krishna. Of course, we should not ever aspire for direct service. We should always aspire to become servant of servant of servant. Because what's our qualification? Even whatever little we may be doing in whatever field we are, as artist, singer, we know we are not those perfectionists. So if someone is doing better, let us become their servant. So best is to become servant of servant of servant of servant. And that is easier for us, and that's good for us. In contrary to the material world where everyone is trying to become boss, we have been, after joining ISKCON, we are taught to become servants. Of course, we don't like it so much because we have experienced that being a servant means we have somebody superior who is trying to give instructions, and we feel they have no other boss. But actually everyone has a boss above them. And we are thinking, okay, you are just ordering me, you are not understanding, but everyone has an authority. Like Panchagauda Prabhu gave class on Bhagavad Gita 9.1, first verse of this chapter, and he was saying that as part of management, sometimes devotees think that, okay, yeah, you can be ordering and there is no one above you, but he has above him also. There are, even within, not just Krishna, but even within ISKCON, there are GBC authorities who are controlling him also. So everyone is being controlled. Apart from Krishna also, within this material world also, no one is supreme. And Prabhupada explains in another place in the introduction also, this is the natural quality of living entity, that he has to serve someone. So we have served so many people, our friends, relatives, maybe dogs also, or our bosses, but we could not make anyone happy. I mean, they might show to be happy as long as they got the service, but if the service stops, they also don't like us anymore. So it is like business-like relationship. But with Krishna, it's not like that. The best part of Krishna consciousness is that we don't have to become anyone. You don't have, in the beginning, you may be seeing someone who is very qualified devotee. It's good to have some aspirations to become like that, but you don't have to become anyone. Like a father or mother, they love their child without any condition. Even if the child is born blind or with some other deformity, in fact they love more, because then they are helpless and they are taking more care. Like even for a normal child, when the child is small, he is helpless, he cannot do anything. So mother is very much watchful. But as we grow up and as we try to become independent, then neither we want to be controlled nor they try to control us, because partially we are out of their reach, and they know and they have some faith that we can take care of ourselves, or even if we cannot take care of ourselves, even if they have understood that I am not very intelligent. It's the nature of living entity that everyone thinks whatever they are thinking, they are right and this is the best. They will not hear after growing up. But as a child, he is helpless, especially when like 1 or 2 year old child, even when mother is beating, the child starts crying loudly and mother says, keep quiet, otherwise I'll beat you more. He cries more loudly, but still he is holding on to mother because he has no other choice. So that way we have to hold on to Krishna's lotus feet, pray to Srimati Radharani. And what does surrender means? Surrender means to accept Krishna's plan. Sometimes we think taking shelter or surrender means, if we surrender unto Krishna, like Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja, aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma sucha. So he will relieve me from all my sinful reaction. That means I should be happy. Yes, we should be happy spiritually. But sometimes we are still looking for material happiness and comforts, then we might be frustrated. Like coming to Krishna consciousness, or even by becoming temple devotee or any other service if you are doing, we are not ensured that we will be fed 3 times a day. Or we cannot be, because this is necessity of body. It's not really necessity of the soul. Even if you eat 2 times, not that if you didn't get 1 meal one day, you will die. But we may be complaining, oh, Krishna, you said you will take care, and what is this protection? My mother was taking better care of me. Yeah, they can take care of you in a better way of the material body. And of course, their understanding is, especially mother, just happy to see their child eating, even though he's maybe becoming big. They are just happy to. But Krishna knows what is really good for us. So sometimes things may not seem so good for us to our vision, but we have to keep faith that Krishna is doing it for my benefit. If we see life of Prabhupada, when he left home, that was not a good situation. Where his wife said, do you want me or tea? And she says tea. Of course, she didn't think he was serious. But this answer was not pleasant. He had to leave home. And when he went to US by ship, he suffered heart attacks. It was never easy. Even not just before establishing ISKCON, even after establishing ISKCON, or even till last day of life, there were struggles. It's not going to be bed of roses. There have to be struggles, but we have to keep the faith that Krishna is doing it for my benefit. I need to be purified, that's why Krishna is doing it to me. We have to see what Krishna is trying to teach me. And it's not that Krishna has given us a check or in writing that no more there will be suffering, or you are assured of all success. There will be failures, but it's okay. What are the success and failures in this material world? It will be soon forgotten. Like Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, during his lifetime, how many people knew him? But now, because of Prabhupada, at least now 10,000 years, people will know Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. During his lifetime, I mean, not that nobody recognized, Bhakti Vinod Thakur recognized, some others recognized, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, who was so educated, learned, he took initiation from him. So he was recognized, but his fame was not such widespread. How much do I know, but maybe it was not even outside West Bengal. But now all over the world. And it will go on for years. Otherwise, these materialistic achievements, somebody, prime ministers, president of country, they come and go. Maybe somebody is having 2 tenure also, 3, 4. Okay, prime minister since 20 years, chief minister since 20 years. Okay, they'll remember for some time, but so many chief ministers will come, go. How many list will remember? But what Prabhupada has done, that will be remembered for 10,000 years now, this golden age, because we may be, although Prabhupada is gone, but he is there through his books, his words. And in ISKCON, nowadays ISKCON Disciple Course has been introduced, especially with this vision that we should not forget Prabhupada. We may have our gurus. As generations passed, what to speak of 10,000 years, maybe after 1,000 years, there would have been so many guru, and their guru, and so many generations have passed. But we should not forget Prabhupada, because he is the one who gave us. I was saying that Krishna gave this knowledge 5,000 years back. But like is said in chapter 4, Kale Naham Mahata Yognashta Parantapa. It's lost. People do not understand. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, revived somewhat, but he reserved it for Prabhupada. He kept it for Prabhupada to do this work. And what Prabhupada has done is unprecedented. At least the number of people, even if we think that we have not fully surrendered to Krishna, but even partial or whatever beginning steps we have taken, that's because of Prabhupada. If Prabhupada was not there, if these translations were not there, we would have never understood Bhagavad Gita. It would remain a religious book in our homes, or maybe that also is thought unnecessary. Why to spend even 100 or 200 rupees and buy this? We can have something nice to eat. But now, Prabhupada's translation is there, and so many people all over the world are taking benefit. Even those who cannot start chanting immediately can read this book. And the topic is spiritual. The knowledge is spiritual and it will have its effects. It can bring about a transformation. But if we desire, only this minute independence the living entity has. Like in Bhagavad Gita chapter 3 to 7, 27th verse, Prakriti Kriyamanani, there it said, Ahankara Vimudatma Karta Aham iti manyate. A soul bewildered by false ego thinks himself the doer, because I am not the doer. I am not really the doer. Even this body doesn't belong to me. We have one pastime in Chaitanya Charitamrita where Sanatan Goswami had infection on his body, and he has sores all over his body with pus was coming out, and he was feeling very bad that I'm here and this Jagannath Puri temple, pandas and devotees who are walking by me, they touch me and this pus is oozing out. I feel dirty. Maybe I should end my body. I don't feel like keeping this body anymore. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chastised him. Do you think this body belonged to me? Sorry, belonged to you. I have many duties to perform through this body. Because I have taken vow to stay in Jagannath Puri, I have dreams to fulfill in Vrindavan. So I have things to be executed through your body. And that's the pastime. But apart from that also, we can understand this body is not mine, two ways, because it's made of earth, water, fire, that way also. 5 gross and 3 subtle elements. Also, if it was mine, then I would be able to control it. But am I really able to control it? Of course, I do control it somewhat. When I want to eat, I move my hand, and if there is a food item, I just put in my mouth. But that is as long as Krishna is allowing me. If my hand is paralyzed or something happens to my hand, then even if I desire to, my hand is not functioning. So that also shows that this body also doesn't belong to me. It's Krishna who is giving the energy, and if we do not use it for his service, then Krishna may have to check. Of course, he'll not necessarily take away the power of hand, but still it's in our own interest that we should surrender to Krishna. And Srimati Radharani, being feminine, Prabhupada in one place calls her Jagan Mata. So mother is more merciful. Even here we see between father and mother is more gentle, merciful. So if we pray to Radharani, it becomes more easy. Radharani recommends to Krishna, and then Krishna is very pleased to accept us. If we directly approach Krishna, it may be difficult, but if we approach Radharani, things will become easier. So from wherever we are, we should try to surrender ourselves more and more, and see to it that how much we are able to progress. Bhajanti Ananya Manaso, undivided. Right now we may be somewhere, and Ananya Manaso means 24/7, 365 days in a year, uninterrupted. So wherever we are, we can try to make some plan to make progress in our Krishna consciousness. Thank you. I think I would stop here. If anyone has some question, you can ask.
What is the meaning of to serve Krishna?
Serve Krishna. Anything and everything. If you are an artist, you can paint Krishna's pictures. If you are a singer, you can sing. If you are good in cooking, you can cook. This is what Prabhupada taught us. Before that, we would think, first thing we didn't understand that bhajan would mean service. Only Prabhupada, at least I came to know through Prabhupada, devotional service. And apart from that, we would think serving Krishna would mean puja. Or even cooking means cooking for Krishna, for Bhoga. Of course, even in the beginning when we hear of prasad, in India especially, there are so many temples, and prasad is small quantity, some sweet, or it can be fruit also, but it's small quantity. And when it's this usual things that we are offering to Krishna, and we are eating like whole meal as prasad, people didn't think this, when we say, come and take prasad, they didn't think, oh, they'll be served full plate of prasad. But even if we didn't know that, okay, if you know cooking, Now Prabhupada has taught us. And Krishna says what he wants, so you can cook according to that, what he wants, and serve him. If you are good in writing, you write. If you have whatever is your mother tongue, if you are good in your language, you can translate Prabhupada books or other acharyas, whatever service you can do. Whatever you can do to increase your faith and love for Krishna, and to increase others' faith also. So by doing that service, Krishna will empower you more, and you will increase your faith and love and desire to serve more. In this material world, when you serve, you become tired. But spiritual energy, and in the spiritual world, as you serve, especially if you are serving with love, in the beginning we may not have that love, but slowly as it develops, you don't get tired. You want to do more and more. Yes, please proceed. You had something more to say?
If the health is not good,
See, health is not good means, yeah, it may be that we have taken up Krishna consciousness at an old age, but beginning of understanding of Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna says, you are not this body. So it doesn't matter. See, you may not be able to do big things, but simple things like distributing Charnamrita in the temple, maybe this you can sit and do, or any old man can do. But even this has to be done with little faith and love. I mean, you can do anything, you can be serving Charnamrit, but it still may not be spiritual activity. If you are not doing with that desire to please devotees, please Krishna. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, spiritual master of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, used to say, don't try to see Krishna. You should do service in a manner that Krishna's attention will be attracted to you. Who is this servant who is doing so much service? You can be serving Charnamrit carelessly, so it spills. We know, at least, I wouldn't say everyone knows, but still many Indians know that it's not proper to spill and step over it. But how much careful we are serving, who is serving, and even those who are accepting. Sometimes just because, yeah, we should not touch it with mouth, the way they take it or sprinkle it, they spread all over. Are you doing it consciously to please Krishna, or even increase your love and faith in Krishna? We have to see each moment. Am I doing it? Otherwise, it's Shrama eva hi kevalam. It's only a useless labor lost. Okay? Thank you. I couldn't hear. You have to be louder. Lakshmi Devi?
Lakshmi Devi is the eternal concept of love.
Uh-huh.
How come she becomes
I didn't get. How come she becomes?
demigoddess?
Uh-huh.
Like the point which you have mentioned.
No. I didn't mention. I mean, I did mention among that. But yeah, we have to keep faith that if you are serving Krishna, then Radharani is, by serving Radha Krishna, Lakshmi is being taken care of. You don't have to separately worship. In Bhagavatam, I think you have been in ISKCON since quite some time. You have heard, like feeding the stomach. So just by serving Krishna, all other demigods are his limbs. So just we have to keep that strong faith that only by serving Krishna, all my necessities will be taken care of. Shraddha Shabde Kare Nishchay Sudhir Nishchay Krishna Bhakti Korle Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. Just by practicing Krishna consciousness, all my activities will see perfection. Otherwise, we may try to water the roots, the twigs and branches, but it's a lot of endeavor and it will not be useful. So Krishna is like watering the roots. So she's whether a demigod or not a demigod, we don't have to divert our attention to any other forms. We just keep faith in Krishna. That's what I'm trying to say. Even not to Narayan. Even in universal form, when Krishna is manifesting his universal form, first thing he manifests universal form which is scary. So Arjuna asked Krishna, now kindly withdraw this form and show me 400 form. Krishna showed the 400 form and then quickly comes back to his 200 form. And there is, Prabhupada says that Krishna knew that actually Arjuna is not interested even in this 400 form, because this is the most attractive. And even I'm sure we are all attracted by Krishna in ISKCON, They are so beautifully decorated. Naturally, we must be attracted. But apart from that also, we just heard that Krishna has 4 qualities which even Narayana doesn't have. So another thing, sometimes I would say people misunderstand from reading Bhagavad Gita or becoming ISKCON devotees that Bhagavad Gita or even this Govardhan Leela, there Krishna is condemning demigod worshippers, demigod worship, but not the demigods. Demigods are devotees of Krishna. We are not against demigods. We are against the worshippers, because we are against in the sense because they don't have complete understanding. Otherwise, gopis were worshipping Katyayani. So if we are worshipping somebody else also, saying that gopis were worshipping, that make Krishna become our husband. So that way, if you are still, you were a follower of Shiva. So if you are praying to Shiva, and Vaishnavam Siyatha Shambho, it said Shiva directs devotees to Krishna. Otherwise, you can pray to him that make me, I have been your servant, but now ISKCON devotees are saying this. So please make me a good servant of Krishna. You say this way. Okay, whatever, Shiva will not get angry. Oh, you want to leave my shelter and go to Krishna? No, he will not get angry. Keep that faith and take shelter in Krishna. Krishna will be happy if you repose your faith on him. Okay?
Just adding
Yeah.
that, can we refer her as demigoddesses?
Lakshmi Devi. Demigod, no, I wouldn't say she's demigod exactly. As a consort of Narayan, she's not a demigod. But still, let us not, Prabhupada did not want, even when Prabhupada was forming ISKCON, devotees suggested maybe we should name it as God Consciousness, International Society of God Consciousness. Prabhupada didn't want. Even in NOD, like in India, Sri Ganesh Kare means to start. In NOD it comes Nectar of Devotion, worship of Ganesh in the beginning. Although it's recommended, and what is Nectar of Devotion, maybe many of you know, is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction to Sanatana Goswami. Yeah. So it is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction, but Prabhupada said, no, we should not divert, because now we'll include Ganesh, and then somebody will say, why not Shiva, and why not this? Indians have too many, it's like departmental store, there are so many things. But we have to keep faith. No, we have taken shelter of Krishna, and Krishna is saying, Mata Parataram Nanyat Kinchit Asti Dhananjay. We might have read several Puranas. There are many Puranas, they are authorized. And in that Purana, that demigod might have been glorified. But here Krishna is speaking himself, that there is no superior authority than me. There is no superior truth. Sorry, he didn't call himself an authority. Superior truth beyond me. So we have to take faith, keep faith. It's intelligent. We can be intelligent in many ways. Maybe you stand first in your class, but if you don't have Krishna consciousness, then you are a fool. In chapter 13, verse 8 to 11, the process of knowledge is there, and that's nowhere academic knowledge. It is starting from amanitmam, adambitmam. Humility, pridelessness, these are the process of knowledge. And there it is said, apart from this, whatever is there is ignorance. So what we are learning in educational institute, they are saying tamasoma jyotirgamaya, but still they are giving only this tamasic knowledge of the matter. They are not imparting this spiritual knowledge. So, and Krishna gives you the certificate if you learn Bhagavad Gita. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanvan. Krishna says you are most intelligent if you have surrendered unto me. So if you want to be called intelligent also, that's why also you should surrender to Krishna. Is that okay? Thank you. Hare Krishna. That's the end of the time. Thank you for coming. Hare Krishna.